Let's start with our first news. As the UFC White House event draws closer, Joe Rogan is making it clear that he still has some serious concerns about working commentary on the White House grounds. While many fans are focused on the fights themselves, Rogan seems to be thinking about everything that could go wrong outside of the octagon. During a recent episode of his podcast, Rogan discussed the unique challenges surrounding the historic event. One of the biggest concerns on his mind is the weather. Washington, D.C. is known for its hot and humid summer conditions, and Rogan pointed out that fighters have already been training outdoors in the thick, heavy air. According to him, that kind of environment can have a major impact on performance, conditioning, and overall comfort during fight week. Rogan specifically mentioned seeing fighters working outside and dealing with the intense humidity. He explained that the heavy air changes everything and can make physical activity much more difficult. However, weather is not the only thing making him uneasy. The possibility of thunderstorms has also caught his attention. Rogan noted that large storms are common on the East Coast during this time of year, and he admitted that lightning is something he takes very seriously. Although organizers have installed a canopy over the cage, the conversation quickly turned toward what could happen if lightning were to strike the structure. Despite those concerns, Rogan revealed that another threat worries him even more. In a surprising moment, he joked that he is actually more concerned about a potential attack than being struck by lightning. The comment sparked laughter, but it also highlighted the unprecedented security challenges involved in hosting a UFC event at such a high-profile location. Even so, the discussion eventually returned to lightning, with Rogan recalling that he personally knows people who have been struck by it. That experience has clearly left an impression on him. As fight night approaches, excitement remains at an all-time high, but Rogan's comments show that safety, security, and unpredictable weather are still very real concerns heading into this massive event. Move on to another news. Islam recently shared his thoughts on who he would like to face next, and his answer caught a lot of fans by surprise. During a recent interview, Islam was asked a simple question. If he were acting as the matchmaker, who would he choose as his next opponent? Many expected him to name Ian Gary, a fighter who has been heavily discussed as a potential contender. Instead, Islam revealed that he would rather face Michael Morales. Explaining his decision, Islam made it clear that legacy plays a major role in how he evaluates potential opponents. According to him, both Ian Gary and Michael Morales are deserving contenders, but there is one important factor that separates them in his eyes. Morales remains undefeated, and Islam believes that defeating an unbeaten fighter would add more value to his career achievements. Islam explained that if he were to beat Ian Gary, some critics would immediately point to the fact that another top contender has already beaten him. In his view, that would naturally reduce the impact of the victory in the eyes of some fans and analysts. On the other hand, a win over an undefeated fighter like Morales would be much harder for anyone to dismiss. That is why he believes the matchup carries greater significance when it comes to building his legacy. At the same time, Islam emphasized that he respects both fighters and sees them as legitimate threats in the division. He did not dismiss Ian Gary in any way and acknowledged that both men have earned their place among the top contenders. However, when forced to choose between the two, the undefeated record of Morales ultimately tipped the scales. Interestingly, Islam also brought up Kamaru Usman during the discussion. While many fans and analysts seem ready to move on from the former champion, Islam is not one of them. He stated that he still believes Usman is being overlooked and underestimated by much of the MMA community. In fact, Islam suggested that if Usman were matched up against either Ian Gary or Michael Morales, he would still have a very strong chance of winning. That statement alone is likely to spark plenty of debate among fight fans. With the welterweight division becoming increasingly competitive, Islam's comments have only added more intrigue to the title picture. Whether it is Michael Morales, Ian Gary, or even Kamaru Usman, there is no shortage of massive fights waiting on the horizon. Meanwhile, tensions also continued to rise between Justin Gaethje and Ilya after the two exchanged heated words during the UFC Freedom 250 press conference, adding even more excitement and drama to an already stacked event. Move on to another news. The war of words between Justin Gaethje and Ilya continues to heat up, and this time, Justin had plenty to say about a comment that recently went viral. The exchange started after Justin's father reportedly remarked that Ilya was too short and that Justin should be able to handle him inside the octagon. Naturally, the comment made its way back to Ilya, who wasted no time firing back. Ilya responded by saying that after he knocks Justin out, he plans to look directly at his father and ask him who the short guy is now. The response immediately gained attention online, with fans debating whether it was a clever comeback or a strange remark. When Justin was later asked about it, he could not help but laugh at the logic behind the statement. Justin mocked the comment and pointed out what he saw as an obvious flaw. According to him, no matter what happens in the fight, height is not something that changes after a knockout. He joked that even if Ilya managed to knock him unconscious, he would eventually get back to his feet and still be taller than him. The comment had everyone around him laughing as he continued to poke fun at the situation. Justin repeatedly emphasized how ridiculous he found the statement, saying that height has nothing to do with the outcome of a fight. In his view, the comeback simply did not make any sense. While he acknowledged the threat of being knocked out, he insisted that it would not magically change anyone's height. His sarcastic response quickly became one of the most talked about moments from the interview. But the discussion did not stop there. Justin was also asked about Sean Strickland and why he was not included on the UFC White House card. Justin offered a blunt explanation. He suggested that Sean's outspoken personality and history of controversial comments may have played a major role in that decision. According to Justin, it should not come as a surprise that someone who constantly insults people, creates controversy, and makes headlines for provocative statements would struggle to receive an invitation to such a high-profile event. He argued that the situation was actually very simple and that anyone should be able to understand why organizers might be cautious. As the conversation continued, Justin also touched on Sean's frustration regarding the situation. Rather than sympathizing, he admitted that he enjoys seeing competitors upset and emotional. The back and forth added even more drama to an already intense fight week, while the rivalry between Justin and Ilya continues to grow louder with every passing day. Move on to another news. Absolute chaos erupted during a grappling exchange involving Khamzat and Dylan Danis, and what started as a competitive matchup quickly turned into complete mayhem. Fans in attendance were left stunned as tensions boiled over after the action on the mat appeared to spill far beyond the boundaries of competition. The incident began when Khamzat managed to gain a dominant position and pin Dylan during the exchange. After controlling the situation, Khamzat started getting back to his feet. However, as the sequence came to an end, things took a dramatic turn. Video footage appeared to show Khamzat shoving Dylan away while standing up, creating immediate tension between the two competitors. Rather than letting the moment pass, Dylan reacted instantly. While still on the ground, he appeared to throw a kick in Khamzat's direction. The move immediately escalated the situation and transformed a heated exchange into a full-blown confrontation. Within seconds, emotions exploded, and both fighters became involved in a physical altercation. Khamzat responded right away, and the confrontation quickly intensified. What had already become a tense situation suddenly spiraled out of control as members from both sides rushed toward the scene. Team members, coaches, and security personnel all became involved as they attempted to separate everyone before the incident could get even worse. The crowd erupted as shouting broke out from multiple directions. People could be seen scrambling to restore order while confusion spread throughout the venue. Spectators watched in disbelief as the scene unfolded right in front of them. For a brief moment, it seemed as though nobody knew exactly what was going to happen next. Commentators immediately reacted to the situation, describing the scene as complete mayhem. The atmosphere inside the arena changed instantly, with attention shifting away from the competition itself and toward the massive confrontation taking place around the fighters. Every second seemed to add more drama to an already chaotic moment. Security eventually stepped in and worked to regain control, preventing the situation from escalating even further. Even after the fighters were separated, emotions remained high, and the intensity of the confrontation continued to be the main topic of discussion among fans. The shocking sequence quickly spread across social media, with clips of the incident generating huge reactions from the MMA community. What was supposed to be remembered as a grappling showcase instead became one of the wildest and most controversial moments of the event. The confrontation between Khamzat and Dylan turned an ordinary contest into a viral spectacle that had everyone talking. Move on to another news. Arman has shared his prediction for the highly anticipated matchup between Ilya and Justin Gaethje, and it is safe to say he does not expect the fight to be competitive. During a recent interview, Arman gave a brutally honest assessment of the matchup and made it clear that he believes Ilya has a massive advantage. According to Arman, the fight simply does not make much sense from a competitive standpoint. He suggested that the matchup is a waste of time because he sees very few paths to victory for Justin. While many fans continue to point to Gaethje's toughness, power, and ability to create chaos inside the cage, Arman remains unconvinced that those qualities will be enough against someone like Ilya. When asked whether Gaethje could potentially break Ilya with pressure, durability, or experience, Arman quickly dismissed the idea. In his opinion, the biggest problem for Justin is the lack of a strong wrestling threat. Arman explained that if Gaethje possessed elite wrestling skills, the fight might become much more complicated. Without that element, however, he believes Ilya will be free to focus almost entirely on striking exchanges. Arman then broke down what he sees as a major technical weakness in Gaethje's stand-up game. He pointed out that Justin often drops his hands while attacking and leaves openings during certain combinations. Specifically, Arman mentioned that Gaethje tends to lower his guard when looking to throw uppercuts. In his view, those moments create dangerous opportunities against a fighter with the speed, timing, and accuracy of Ilya. According to Arman, if Gaethje makes those mistakes against Ilya, the consequences could be severe. He believes Ilya will recognize the opening immediately, counter with precision, and potentially score a devastating knockout. Arman described the scenario as something that could happen very quickly if Gaethje becomes careless during exchanges. The criticism did not stop there. Arman also questioned Gaethje's ability to absorb clean shots from elite punchers. Referring to previous fights, he argued that even when opponents have landed relatively simple punches, Gaethje has shown signs of being hurt. Arman specifically pointed to moments where Gaethje appeared visibly shaken after getting touched by strikes, suggesting that his durability may not be what many fans believe it is. Overall, Arman's prediction was crystal clear. He sees Ilya as the faster, sharper, and more complete fighter. In his eyes, the technical advantages heavily favor Ilya, and unless something unexpected happens, he believes the matchup ends with a dominant performance and potentially a spectacular knockout victory for Ilya. Move on to another news. Arman delivered a completely dominant performance at the latest grappling event, leaving no doubt about who the superior competitor was on the night. Facing former UFC interim champion Tony Ferguson, Arman controlled the action from start to finish and secured a decisive victory via technical fall. From the opening moments of the match, he imposed his pace, showcased his elite wrestling, and never allowed Tony to gain any momentum. The event generated significant attention because many fans were curious to see how Tony would perform against one of the most accomplished grapplers in combat sports. However, once the action began, it quickly became apparent that Arman was operating on a completely different level. His pressure, positioning, and control proved overwhelming, and he consistently found ways to neutralize every attempt at resistance. Throughout the match, Arman repeatedly advanced his position and accumulated points, demonstrating why many consider him one of the most technically gifted wrestlers competing today. Every exchange seemed to favor him, and his confidence grew as the match progressed. By the time the contest reached its conclusion, the result was no longer in doubt. The victory by technical fall capped off a one-sided performance that further strengthened Arman's reputation. Fans watching the event were impressed by how effortlessly he controlled a veteran competitor with as much experience as Tony. It was the type of performance that sends a message to future opponents. Following the match, attention immediately shifted toward what comes next. During the post-fight discussion, Arman was informed that his next opponent was present and paying close attention to everything that had just happened. The conversation quickly turned toward Colby Covington, a fighter known for his wrestling background, relentless pace, and outspoken personality. Rather than showing caution or respect for the challenge ahead, Arman responded with extreme confidence. In fact, he stunned many listeners by claiming that a matchup with Colby would actually be easier than the one he had just completed against Tony. The statement immediately caught everyone's attention and highlighted the level of belief he currently has in his own abilities. Arman went even further, describing the potential matchup as the easiest money imaginable. He predicted a completely dominant result and suggested that he would overwhelm Colby from the very beginning. According to Arman, there would be no reason to waste time dragging the contest out. Instead, he plans to push the pace immediately and secure a rapid victory. After such a commanding performance and such bold comments afterward, Arman has made one thing perfectly clear. His confidence is at an all-time high, and he believes no opponent currently standing in front of him can stop his momentum. Move on to another news. While many fighters and analysts have confidently picked Ilya to defeat Justin Gaethje, Paddy Pimblett is not completely convinced that the outcome is as predictable as some people believe. During a recent interview, Paddy shared his thoughts on the highly anticipated matchup and revealed that he has a feeling the fight could produce a major surprise. According to Paddy, there is always the possibility that Gaethje pulls off an upset. Even though Ilya enters the contest with tremendous momentum and widespread support from fans, Paddy believes it would be a mistake to completely count Gaethje out. In his eyes, the unpredictable nature of mixed martial arts means that anything can happen once the cage door closes. Paddy explained that at the end of the day, this is still a fight. More specifically, it is a fist fight between two dangerous athletes who possess the power to change everything with a single punch. Because of that reality, Paddy feels that predicting a guaranteed winner is never as easy as it seems on paper. He pointed out that combat sports have a long history of shocking results. Fighters who entered as heavy favorites have often found themselves stunned by unexpected performances from opponents who were given little chance of success. That possibility is one of the reasons why fans continue to tune in and why every major matchup carries so much excitement. When discussing Gaethje specifically, Paddy suggested that motivation could become a major factor. He believes Gaethje may have additional incentive heading into this contest because of the unique circumstances surrounding the event. Competing on such a massive stage with so much attention focused on the fight could push him to deliver one of the best performances of his career. Paddy also emphasized that emotional factors can sometimes elevate a fighter beyond expectations. When athletes feel they have something special to prove, they often find another level of determination. That extra drive can make an enormous difference when the pressure is at its highest. Despite acknowledging Ilya's impressive skills and accomplishments, Paddy refused to dismiss Gaethje's chances. Instead, he stressed that one clean shot, one perfectly timed exchange, or one unexpected moment can completely alter the direction of a fight. In a sport where margins are incredibly small, that possibility can never be ignored. As anticipation continues to build for this massive showdown, Paddy's prediction stands out because it goes against the growing consensus. While many are expecting Ilya to continue his dominant run, Paddy believes the possibility of a shocking upset remains very real. In his view, when two elite fighters step into the cage, nothing is guaranteed, and that uncertainty is exactly what makes this matchup so exciting.